The warmest welcome to all of you on behalf of Washburn, Chequamegon Bay PFLAG. I want to thank you for watching. I'm the chapter leader, Nancy Hansen, and I want to thank our PFLAG board. Bill Luckin, Bill, Sandy Olson, Diane Judd, Amy Arno, Matt Malum, Andy Austin, and Nick Elliott. And a shout out to James Shaftal, Big Waters Marketing, for editing this video. The board is giving 3 Person of the Year awards to area high school Gay Straight Alliance advisors. Greta Blancarte from Ashland, Cathy Smith from Bayfield, and Sarah Haughn from Washburn. These leaders will tell us about how the GSAs functioned during the 2019 and 20 school year. Our first Person of the Year award goes to Sarah Haughn, Gay Straight Alliance advisor at Washburn High School during this last school year. Sarah, congratulations.
Our GSA started under my leadership last year, but I believe it's been there for the last 2 to 3 years off and on with various advisors. Personally, I really enjoy being an advisor for this group because I like being able to support the students and being there for them, because I know that that's really necessary at this age. And I knew that it wasn't something that was really always available to them. Having this GSA, I've seen an increase in the student confidence and student advocacy. Acting as their liaison between students and teachers, I've increased their security and their belief that issues will be addressed without risking their anonymity. And all of that's been really important to me because I have a lot of friends and family in the LGBTQ community who have reached out to me over the years saying, you know, high school is one of the most important times to have that support system, and to be able to have that available to these students in my hometown is really, really special. One of the really important reasons why I wanted to be the GSA advisor when I started working at the school district was because of my own personal experiences with friends when I was in high school. I knew someone who went through a transition and was met with a lot of backlash, and the support system wasn't there for them. They had a few friends and family, but they really had to struggle to make themselves known and to gain acceptance. And seeing that really made me want to help make a difference. So being able to be there for the students now has been really important for helping me prevent situations like that again.
Hi PFLAG students and families, my name is Greta Blancarte. I am the Wellness Coordinator for the School District of Ashland, and over the last 2 school years I have also had the great privilege of being the advisor for the Ashland High School GSA. Our GSA is really a student-led organization that's focused on creating a safe environment for everybody at the school, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity. We have in the past had meetings on a weekly basis, sometimes twice a week, where one of the meetings was actual meeting where there was some information shared, presentations done by different students, and another day of the week would be just a safe space where students could come knowing that it was be open, accepting. It was a place where they could just relax and breathe and be themselves with people who were like-minded and just open and caring. So we really work on creating that sort of community within our Ashland High School community. We plan events and have discussions on various issues, looking at history in the queer community and allowing people to tell their stories and really share some of their insights and information that they've learned about themselves and about the community. We have a thriving group of both community members and allies, and we've really become a family over the last couple of years. It's fun as as graduating seniors head off to do their next thing, and other students step up into leadership roles. It's been just wonderful watching all the students grow. This year is certainly going to be a little bit different, just with the changes that are here going on at Ashland High School. All of the student groups are meeting after school, and there aren't times in the day that groups are going to meet at school. So that's going to be a challenge for us. We understand the why of reducing transmission and transitions of students around the school, but a lot of our students really preferred that time during the day so that it wouldn't interfere with after-school activities, and in some cases with those that had families that weren't quite understanding of their participation in GSA, it was easier to have it done during the school day. So we are really hoping to go as virtual as possible this year. I think it will allow us to connect in different ways, but certainly it will be different. So if there are any Ashland High School students out there or community members who are interested in learning more, I'm happy to field questions about how we're going to try and make that work this year. In the past, we've gone to regional events and sent students to the Leadership Academy downstate in the summer. This past summer and this school year will not be able to do some of those state and regional events, but we hope to continue our growing and learning together as a community here at the school. Another thing we're really excited about is last spring, we started a GSA group at the middle school. It's the first time that they've ever had one at the Ashland Middle School, and it just started as a kind of a support group for kids able to come together to learn more about the community and feel like there was a place where there were other students and adults who were understanding and flexible and supportive and safe. And it started very small. I think there were 8 kids at our first meeting, and within 3 or 4 weeks we had about 40 students who were coming at a regular basis. So that will also look different probably this year. Carolyn Haas, the band teacher at the middle school, was planning on kind of taking that over after spring break, but as you all know, there was no school after spring break, so that we will be getting more information out on what that's going to look like in this school year. That might also be a bit virtual, or we may have to push pause until we can really safely be all back together in the school building. But I'm so excited to speak to the PFLAG group tonight and get a chance to meet some of the wonderful advocates and family and support members. And it's a great honor to be recognized as one of the local GSA advisors in this way. So appreciate everyone. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I can be reached at Ashland High School. My email is gblancarte@sdak12.net, or you can always reach me on my work cell, which is 715-329-0671, and that can take texts or phone calls. So if you have any questions or you want more information, I'm more than happy to chat with you, and thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Hello, I am Cathy Smith, and I want to share with you about how I got to be the facilitator of the GSA at Bayfield High School. I won't go into too much detail, but I grew up in Des Moines, Iowa, in a very working class neighborhood. I went to Catholic school from 1st grade through 12th grade. This does not seemingly lead to this point here where I am, but I had my father and my mother, my first teachers, who served others and accepted peoples of all backgrounds. I remember a religion class in high school that was taught by a nun, where we debated all the controversial topics of the day. And although she would, in the end, explain the church's opinion on the topic, it was really only 10% of the time we spent on this topic, and it never stifled or judged our discussions. And for me, that really opened up my mind. Now I'm going to fast forward quite a bit, and I went to a liberal college where my ideas and opinions were definitely more developed and became more expansive. But now I'm going to talk about my most recent history, and that brings us to my daughter, Wildflower, who is almost 20 years old. She is a transgender woman and transitioned her sophomore year in high school. Although I considered myself an open-minded, accepting person, this was not a smooth, easy transition. I would be surprised if it ever is at that age, but we have all learned a lot along the way and continue to do so. So when I returned to Bayfield School, where I had taught 20 years previous, my daughter naturally asked if there was a GSA. There wasn't one, but it was obvious that we had LGBTQ students, as schools do everywhere. But they weren't in hiding, as they are in some places at Bayfield. In my daughter's history, this group was a key group that contributed to her well-being during her transition. So we had many discussions about this, and so it was really important that we start one. One got started at Bayfield. It was easier for me to start this because I knew of this presence of LGBTQIA people at Bayfield. But it took a few reminders from my daughter to ask me, have you done it? Have you talked to them? Have you started it yet? But then I approached a few key students to ask if they were interested in having a GSA. And if they would like to meet with my daughter, who would talk to them about what a GSA is. Because she was home on winter break, and actually we had come up with that idea together. So they met with her one day, and I had one student who really stood out and said yes. Her name is Allison Rogers, and she said yes, she would help me start a GSA because I did not want to start one by myself. Oops, sorry. Little wasp there. I would probably not be here or not be accepting this award if it wasn't for Allison, who was willing to do that. We strive to make a student-driven group at our school. We also enjoy great support from our principal, Shelley Swanson, my fellow Bayfield teachers, our administration, and our school counselors. At our first GSA meeting, we had many teachers there. They were so excited to show the support of QIA students. Now it's just me at the meetings with a very fun-loving, outgoing, diverse group of students who I adore and miss dearly during COVID. Lastly, I want to share some of our accomplishments last year, which was our first year at GSA. We did 2 fundraisers. One was selling concessions at a basketball game, and the other was selling homemade things at a Christmas bazaar at the casino. We secured funding through a diversity fund connected to the teachers union for t-shirts and buttons that we still need to get going. We got cut off a little bit because of COVID. We attended the Northwoods meetup, which is organized on a state level for the area GSAs. And one of the most exciting things was we hosted Jamie Nabuzny at our school. He gave an all-school, high school, middle school assembly. And we also got to have lunch with them on our own. And it was a great pleasure. So I feel like we've accomplished quite a bit in the short little time that we have been meeting. I can't say enough about how this award is not about me, but I will say this. I saw the need, and I asked the questions. You never regret a question you ask, but you do sometimes regret the questions you failed to ask. So keep asking questions. Thank you.